counted me out, said I'd never rise. Whispers in the dark, spreading their lies. The enemy laughs so quick to spout, but they've no idea what I'm about. Don't give up and never give in. The underdog is yet to win. Never bet against the one who's down. The fight's not over, they'll take the crown. What's done in the dark will come to the light. Stand by your words when they bring the fight. With faith and might, we'll rise again, living for the eternal win. Online wars and endless spats. Who wins, who loses, what's behind that? We bicker and claw in these digital streets, but victory's hollow when no one needs. True strength is found in the faith we hold, not in the battles that grow so cold. The underdog walks with a quiet grace, carrying the scars of the endless race. When pushed to the edge, they find their song, a melody of faith that keeps them strong. For every loss, there's a chance to learn, and every flame will someday burn. Never bet against the one who's down. The fight's not over, they'll take the crown. What's done in the dark will come to the light. Stand by your words when they bring the fight. With faith and might, we'll rise again, living for the eternal win. Faith is the armor, might is the blade. The eternal fight is where heroes are made, not for the fleeting or shallow gains, but for the kingdom that forever remains. Stand with the underdog, hear their call. Together, united, we'll conquer it all. In the darkest hour, when hope is thin, remember the fire that burns within. They may seem beaten, bruised and torn, but the underdog spirit is never worn. Never bet against the one who's down. The fight's not over, they'll take the crown. What's done in the dark will come to the light. Stand by your words when they bring the fight. With faith and might, we'll rise again, living for the eternal win. So don't count out the quiet and small, the ones who stumble yet still stand tall. The underdog fights with a fire inside. Their victory sure when faith is their guide. Eternal battles we've just begun. With faith and might, the war is won.
All right, hello everybody. I don't know if you people know him. This is Nature Boy, aka Eligio Bishop. Now he was in it was a group of people. He started it called Carbonation. It ended up turning into like a cult thing. So he went to go live in nature, right? What year? 2016 maybe it was. And he had these people kind of like Jim Jones under his spell. When they would come to him, right, and want to join this carbonation, right, living off, living in nature, all peaceful, happy, he would take their birth certificate and their identification when they first got there, right? And they wouldn't be in the United States. They called the United States Oh shit. It's been a while. It'll come to me. But they would be like in Costa Rica, Mexico, places like that. So what I'm going to do here first, see these links here? Okay, these links here, let me show you. These are the only two actually that I watched that covered these people for years, right? This channel is pretty much about the cult. The T channel here, oh, I can't remember her name, Tay? I can't remember. She did this channel for this purpose. Okay? Is to document this. Now, it's really sad when he finally went to, hey, oh, thank you. I appreciate you. So what happened? Okay. You'll see what's going to happen. And before we get to the reports. Also, here is King World. Okay. I've known him since what? 2017. And he does, or he used to do a lot of Nature Boy. Not as much anymore, but he did. Hold on a minute, guys. Okay, sorry. Nala just came home with my dad. Okay, so we're gonna watch a couple news clips, right? So you guys get an understanding what this demon is about, okay? And how he controlled people. And he still, to this day, he is in prison and he controls people. It's weird.
Thank you for staying up late with us. We have a great program, and we're going to kick it off right now. A story you may be talking about tomorrow. First up, the fall of a very controversial cult leader you probably didn't even know existed, but he attracted people from all over the country. Eligio Bishop, known as Nature Boy, has been sentenced to life in prison in Georgia. Prosecutors say he raped a former group member as she tried to escape, and then posted revenge porn online. Nature Boy led the group called Carbon Nation, which encouraged being naked, pooping on trees, requiring followers to give Nature Boy their money, and allowing verbal abuse like this.
It's a good one. Slap a for sense. Like, stop wasting our time making stuff about you. It's about me. Rub my legs and my toes and suck on my toes. And you can say it's abuse, but please leave.
Now, many of us have always been intrigued by a person who can manipulate.
Yeah, this is a trigger here. There's an echo. How is there an echo? Hold on a minute. Let me check my settings. Thank you. Let me see here. There shouldn't be. Oh my God. Maybe this? Okay, Misty, let me know if there's still an echo.
So many people with just words. Joining us to talk about it tonight, Todd Smith, CEO of Regal Media, and therapist Dr. Jasmine Boone and Dr. Angela Jones. So, Todd, what do we know about this guy so far? He was found guilty. He is spending life in prison now as a result of raping one member and then using revenge porn. So what do we know about him?
Well, basically, he started his organization around 2015, 2016. Some of the oldest members said they joined in 2016. And he kind of convinced people that America was just messed up. Capitalism, racism. We need to leave.
What is going on here? Hold on. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. All right, one more time. I don't know what's going on.
to live off the grid. We need to leave this place. We don't need to be consumed with all of the technology. We can live in nature and just be one and be, spiritually together. And it started off okay. Some of the members joined, went overseas, and they said, yeah, they had to live outside in tents, but they, ate food from the berries and stuff like that. It started off great, and he had extracurricular activities for certain people. Like one of the first members to leave said she was an audio engineer. He had a recording studio there, so they do certain things that they enjoyed, but then he slowly started to change, like all manipulative people.
How can there be an echo still? This is so weird. I don't know. Interesting. You know what? I'm going to mute over here on my end while this is playing.
People, he started abusing his girlfriend, and that's why she left. He hit his first girlfriend, and she left. But he convinced a lot of people just to give money. Some people gave $300,000. Some people gave land. And with cult leaders, I've noticed it always starts out great, and they always find something to get at a person's heart, whether it's religious, whether it's political, whether it's racial, and they start gradually getting abusive and stuff like that. So a lot of the members, some members died. One member couldn't take her heart medicine because he was against that. She died. People got STDs because, they were raped and forced to have sex. So it just got out of hand, and we see where it's at right now. He's in jail for life.
And give me a little bit about his background, Eligio.
I want to say this. That's because I'm muted on my end. Oh, okay. Now let me say something about him here. He did not get arrested for his crimes that he has done for years, abusing these people. Okay. So the revenge porn and the R word. Okay. But the judge sentenced him to where he can never get out again and hurt all these people. Because there's 4 girls, no, 3 now, but that are still, and who knows if they got new people now that are still under his spell. It is crazy.
One of the members who left said he was very abused as a child. His parents died.
No, I'm sorry, where he came from, because we heard he was a stripper.
He was a stripper and stuff like that. Just a bad guy, you know what I mean? And he had barber, just all over the place. But he had people believing that he was the second coming. He was Christ. He was a Messiah type figure. But if you look at his behavior, you showed the video of him saying that he has sex around his kids. What part of that relates to any God? You know what I mean? But somehow you can manipulate people into believing that. And like back to his history, but one of the people said that they don't even blame him because they believe that a lot of the stuff that he went through as a child is manifesting now. They say he's like a hurt child. He's 40 years old, but his parents died young. He grew up rough, and he's projecting some of this stuff. So that power is something that, came from that wanting to have that power came from just a turbulent upbringing. And
Dr. Jones, do you ever think he was sincere in the beginning and then it just escalated and morphed into something more sinister? What do you think in reading and researching him?
I mean, there's a possibility there was some sincerity at the beginning. I think the ideas that he had about living off of the land, living off of the grid, there's nothing wrong with those things. Like saying you want to be more natural, being aware of what you put in your body, maybe even disconnecting from some of the societal norms in regards to politics and, preservatives in our food. So the idea was a good idea, but putting it in the hands of someone who has past trauma and has past hurt that's unresolved, putting it in the hands of someone who's possibly a narcissist or has social personality disorder, that's what happens. It's like putting a gun, and you're putting a gun in the wrong hands. It depends on whose hands you put it in.
And does someone like this, and I can only think about Jim Jones and the Guyana tragedy back in the 70s, where Jim Jones, a pastor, convinced like 1,000 Black people to move from Compton to the jungles of Guyana. Does he get that mentality where he feels like he's God at some point? I mean, yeah. And I'm talking about Bishop now.
Well, is this sense of superiority that he has. He likely already had it. Now, as far as like why it happened and where it stemmed from past pain and past trauma, that's something we may find out later. But there is this sense of superiority. And once you are able to see that this idea, I can move people into the direction that I want to, and I can convince this person to follow me, it's like building a Legos, but of ego. And he's realizing like, oh, wow. They're actually listening. So they're doing what I want them to do.
You're creating a monster.
And so it's just building up something that's already dark inside of him. And it's.
Okay, let me tell you something else about him and these women. Okay, he would call himself a god. He controlled how much they ate. When they were like, in Costa Rica and stuff, they were so skinny. They were skin and bone, these women. He would punish even the men, put them in corners. And the thing about it is, he documented all this online. He recorded himself all the time. So there is proof of all the abuse that he's done to these people that have been to this cult, right? It's gross.
Outwardly showing.
And what do you call that type of psychosis or psyche that we're dealing with when you have an individual who may manipulate so many people and be good at it?
Antisocial personality disorder. These people are charismatic. They can charm a room. So you're not easy to be like, oh, they have antisocial personality disorder. They're very manipulative. They really do not care. They generally do not care about anybody else's emotions. They're not really even connected with their own emotions. It's the power, it's the manipulation, seeing that I can move you just by my words or just by my beliefs, and you're actually doing it. It's feeding into that. I mean,
now you may not care about their emotions and how they feel, but you become a great actor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, just like Todd was saying, like they started in a place where it was a good idea, but then now you're listening to these videos where he's like saying about the color of their skin. And then he's talking about having sex in front of his son while the son is breastfeeding on the mother. And it's like, I think he's just adding his own ideas, seeing if it sticks. And once he sees that it sticks and people are following it, he goes on to the next thing.
We're going to continue with you, Dr. Boone, in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. As we said, we'll continue this discussion.
Don't nobody owe you, Malia. You got to work in real life. You're not that beautiful that it's gonna bag on you. You're not that bad. You're just not. I mean, being all the way honest with you, and gonna bag on you the way I'm doing. Ain't gonna take care of you like you're gonna work at Walmart. You're gonna be some late night, or you might get a relationship with a broke, but ain't nobody about to bag on you. You're not that bad, Malia.
I know.
How do you say you're Ike Turner without saying you're Ike Turner? Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. That was just some of the verbal vitriol followers of the Carbon Nation cult chose to endure. Their leader, Eligio Bishop, a.k.a. Nature Boy, is now in prison for life after being accused of raping a former member. Tonight, we continue our discussion about the mentality behind cults. Todd Smith, CEO of Regal Media, and therapist Dr. Jasmine Boone and Dr. Angela Jones are back. Dr. Boone, when you see someone taking verbal abuse like that, and we want to talk about the followers now.
Yeah.
What does it take for an individual to be attracted to one like Eligio Bishop, and then not only be attracted, but to stay after being verbally abused and physically abused and sexually abused?
So Todd mentioned this earlier. We have to keep in mind that he gained a lot of his followers because they were watching his content on YouTube. So they were already aligning with a lot of the topics he was talking about, the living pure, living off the land. So they already had that alignment. Now, who's to say what their childhood looked like, if they're looking for father figures, if they're looking for what their meaning in life, what their purpose is, but they're attracted to, like, he is certain about what he believes. He is confident about what he believes. And that becomes the initial attraction. If I'm a person who's like, God, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my meaning is. And this guy's like, oh, I can help you. You're like, oh, can you? Because there's a confidence that he has. So what a cult leader often does, he's going to get you away from anybody who can talk some sense into you.
Isolate you.
Isolate you as soon as possible from anybody, a mom, a sister, anyone who's going to be able to talk sense into you. He's going to get you away from them, right? So once he has you in their cribs and they've gone off grid, that's when we start seeing the manipulation and the change. It's a slow burn, right? It's a slow burn. So once you're so deep in, now as a cult member, there's this cognitive dissonance that shows up. And that is like, I can't believe I got myself in this. And so now I got to stay because, like, this is too much. It is a disconnect. It is a misalignment of what I once believed and what's really going on. And so now there's this shame, there's this embarrassment, there's this like, I can't go back now. And so they're staying much, much longer than they would, on top of the fact that they're probably scared, right? He doesn't seem to be the most kind leader, right? He's been abusive. He's probably made examples out of other cult members. So there's a lot of different layers to this as to why they would stay, but how they come in the first place, it's slow. It's a slow manipulation. There's similarities, there's kindness, you're feeling this void, right? And then boom, here's the change.
And just like Angela, Dr. Jones individuals like Charles Manson, even when he was put in prison, the ties were never cut with the members.
Right.
And so they remain loyal even after they go to prison, even after the system says you're guilty, even after they hear from the victim. So, I mean, can you even break those ties unless he decides to break those ties?
I mean, some of the ties won't be broken because you have to remember, while you're in a cult, they're also training you about the system. So this is what they're going to say about me. This is what they're going to do to me. And so you're also not only trained about the theories and the philosophies of the cult, you're also being trained to know that, like,
Okay, now I remember he called the United States Babylon, and he would not work. None of them worked. They lived off to donations, and they lived better than a lot of us. Okay, and when they came back to United States, I think it was during COVID. So, they couldn't travel. And so he said he wasn't going to work for the white man, and he's blaming the white man for putting him in prison when it was his own actions and videos that, okay, from my understanding, I could be wrong for the trial. Did the jury get to see any of those videos? Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. So a jury of his peers found him guilty, but what else was I going to say about him? He got arrested, I think it was April or May of 2022. And let's see, 2024, February 2024 was when he was found guilty.
like, the system is the problem. So the fact that he's in court and he got sentenced to life and rape, he probably already talked to them about that.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they're going to portray me as. They're going to take the meaning of our love and how we represent our love and call it rape. So they already been trained for this possibility that he is going to get arrested, because he is now victimized right now. The cult people are looking at him and they're like, poor him. Our leader is being, prosecuted by the system. And so this has already been like rehearsed into them. It's already been massaged into them. Like they say, like a slow burn. You don't go into something and they say, okay, this is what's going to happen. It's slowly taught to you that the system is going to go against me. So be ready.
All right. We'll be back with more Factor. Don't go anywhere. We'll pick up the discussion on the other side of the break. We'll continue talking about cult leader Eligio Bishop out of Georgia, who has been sentenced to life in prison. Stay with us here on The Factor. To The Factor Uncensored, we continue our discussion about the psychology behind cults. The members of the Carbon Nation were subjected to a few different conditions over the years, including polygamy and refraining from bathing. The leader, Nature Boy, will spend the rest of his life behind bars, convicted this week, sentenced this week. He was recently sentenced for that rape. And Todd Smith, CEO of Regal's Media, therapist Dr. Jasmine Boone and Dr. Angela Jones are both back here. Now, one of the things he was always preaching, we're one race, we're one people. And all of a sudden now, I'm the black man and they're out to get me. And it initially started with a young lady, white female from Canada, whose family called authorities and put a lot of pressure on him. And it's a multicultural group, but now he's saying it's about him being a black man. Your thoughts on that, guys?
Right. The video, it's actually a video of him staying in the front, and he has all the multicultural people behind him saying we're one color, we're all different shades of brown. And then the fact that he was able to just take what our philosophy is of this cult, flip it to use it to, for his advantage. To me, it's almost like a red flag to the cult members, like, hello, like he wavers, but it's just a red flag, even just for people who were even thinking about joining this cult. Like, okay, you don't really have a strong stance in regards to that we're all one. You're just using that to get more members into there so you can get more people to manipulate, to get their money, and to do whatever you want to do.
It's all manipulation, and that's typical of a cult leader. It is as it is convenient and favorable for me, right? So it's favorable for me to believe that we're all one color right now, but as soon as that is no longer convenient for me, it's racism, it's this, it's that. So you'll always notice with the cult leader, I am the center, I am the God complex holder, right? And so that's what we're seeing. He's shifting because now that's not working in my favor. It's a racism issue.
And we're talking about motives, money, sex,
power,
and control.
Yes, yes.
And when we say money, guys, PPP loans, he convinced many people to give their loans because he started before the pandemic.
Right.
Todd, go ahead.
And that's in every cult that I've ever studied, money is always the root a lot of things, obviously sex as well, but to convince people to give their life savings, like I said earlier, one person gave $300,000, some people gave land. We see it in all walks of life. It's just not sex, though. We see it in politics. I know we're not talking about politics. When you convince somebody, woe is me, they're out to get me, we see that all the time. But people are I think people have a need for a messiah from people who aren't the messiah. You see what I'm saying? We need somebody to save us from the problems of the world. So you start believing that type of rhetoric, and we gravitate towards charismatic people, not realizing what their message is. You know, like you said, you keep switching up. You see that in all walks of life. 1 minute there's no racism, or it's not about race. The next minute it is. So we see that in all walks of life because we want to believe that one person is going to correct all the wrongs of the world and it's going to change our life. No, it's not going to happen like that. I have a friend that would always say, we talk about religious cults, a pastor's my pastor, they're not my master. You see what I'm saying? Like the minute you try to dictate what I do, you want to control my money, that's when I back off. I have to leave with you? No, I'm not leaving anywhere. So people have to realize these are human beings. Stop looking for God in human beings and start realizing that nothing is going to change your life but you. And nothing's going to change the world.
And really, the last time we had, when I was researching this, I found there are a lot of current active cults that are out there.
Absolutely.
And we see a proliferation of them as a result of social media.
Right.
And so people have to be careful who they follow, right, Dr. John?
There's a new platform. I mean, social media is everyone's new platform. And, cults is not only about a religious belief. It can be about a therapeutic belief, just an ideology. It could be about food.
Lifestyle.
It could be a lifestyle. So it doesn't always have to be surrounded around like a god or a religion. It could just be we have common thoughts and we come together. But then what happens is the definition of the cult is different. It's about analyzing that one person rather than an actual, a belief or ideology.
All right. We want to thank you all for joining us on The Factor Uncensored Night. Fascinating story out of Georgia. And welcome and thank you for joining us for the second half hour, The Factor Uncensored. We have a follow-up tonight. We brought you.
All right. All right. All right. So this is what they sent me. Every state is different about what they will give you, okay? And what they feel should be public record or not. They gave me incident reports. You cannot get, obviously, no jail calls. You cannot get any of their discipline reports, but this is what they sent me for incident reports. And this is, I think, let's see. Is this when he first got there? 4/5/2024. Okay, yep. Georgia diagnostic. You guys know what I'm saying. Diagnosis. Class prison. Nature of incident. Wireless device, drugs, contraband, shakedown, wireless device, incident not on video. Does the incident involve hard contraband? Yes. If yes, what was the contraband? Where was it found? Inside grounds? Date was entered was 4/16/2024. And this is 2 staff members involved. These are the offenders involved. Eligio, Bernard Collins, William Daniels, Lodaris, Dozer, and Tom Green. Oh, what happened here? Oh, that's interesting. See, they blacked this out. Oh, wow. All right, what's this? 4/5/2024. Incident not videotaped. All right. On 4/5/2024 at 08:50 hours. Okay. Oh, they had a K9 and everything. Okay, they had the whole crew. Staff conducted shakedown in 3 units. They entered offender Bishop, let's see. It says blackmail. Made a homemade weapon in his property. Offender Collins, blackmail. Homemade weapon in his property. Okay, you got a Green. Homemade weapon in his property. And then you got Dozer. Let's see. What did he have? It doesn't say. Interesting. So they're not telling you what was found in his. No mental health. Had 4 homemade weapons, 1 Samsung cell phone. Daniels had a cup of K2 strips in his property. 1 homemade weapon was found. 1 homemade weapon was found in the common areas at 10:21 hours. They entered blank. The following contraband was found in the common areas: 135 homemade weapons, 2 cell phones, 1 charger, 2 bags of marijuana, 1 pack of rolling papers, 2 SIM cards per cell phone, 1 medium bag of tobacco, 1 bag of tobacco, 1 small bag, 1 homemade stab vest. What? At 11:30 hours, they entered blank. The following contraband found in the common areas: 59 grams of the powder, 4 packs of rolling papers, 313 grams of tobacco, 2 vacuum bags with 2 packs of rolling papers, 30 grams of tobacco, 132 grams of weed, 11 grams of weed, 7 cell phones, 2 packs of papers. The above vendors remain in their assigned cells pending discipline hearing. Cell phone tracking sheets did not get completed due to contraband being turned over immediately to K9. Wow, that's crazy. Photos were taken. Note: removed offender, use of weapon initially entered. Okay. Did somebody get injured? Oh, that's staff involved. Staff involved. Okay, and it just gives the names of the guys. All right. What's this? Total number of redactions in this document, 41. All right. Hold on a minute, please. We're going to bring up the other one. Shoot. All right. Okay, this one was August 7th, 2024. The location was dormitory at the Macon State Prison. That's where he's at now. Did the incident result in serious injury and outside medical care? Yes. Nature of incident: inmate to inmate assault injury, inmate special. It was not on videotape. Evidence of weapon use, yes. Evidence found. Let's see. Enter date 9/5/2024. So it's these three guys here. Oh, that's staff. So directly involved is Eligio. All right. On 8/7/2024 at 1300 hours, while conducting security checks, offender Bishop was in blank, laying on the floor, needing medical attention due to what appears he had been assaulted by some unknown offenders. Bishop was escorted to medical. After being checked by medical, it was determined that offender Bishop, and then, this is all blacked out. The ambulance was called at 1310. They arrived at 1320. Once EMS arrived, they determined blank departed with offender Bishop to the landing side. Offender Bishop was alert and conscious before departure. A shakedown was conducted in blank. No weapon was recovered. The prison is currently on lockdown. Security provided by Officer Hall and Machuco? UM Ingrid was notified. Staff handled the incident correctly. Security staff and medical staff responded in a timely manner. I think I heard about this, actually. And I think it was intentional, if I remember right. Okay, health. All right, hold on a minute, please. Okay, here's the next one. All right. And this is at Macon State Prison, 8/9/2024. Let's see. Nature of incident: illness, inmate special transport. What? Is this the same one? Date entered 8/29/2024. Okay, there's all the staff involved. Directly involved. It was not videotaped. Okay. Bishop was seen in medical for scheduled appointment. At the time, it was determined that blank. Oh, God. It's talking about health, so that's all redacted. Provided security and transportation for details blank by a state vehicle exiting the prison. Bishop was alert and conscious at the time of the departure. He's doing this on purpose. He's doing this stuff intentionally. Because that's what he does. Okay, that is all the documents they gave me for now. Hopefully they'll send me more, but for these write-ups, like the one discipline one, they say they don't send, you can't get that. They don't think that's part of the public's right to know. And I don't understand, but every state is different in every prison. All right. I'm going to get going now, but please check out these links here that I put in. If you really want to learn about this cult, do it, because, you know, we're doing the Wade Wilson case, and his following is like a cult following. Okay. The only difference is he's controlling from the inside, which Nature Boy, he started on the outside, but he's still doing it from the inside too. So it's the same, but not. Do you know what I mean? So check out the T, because she's got everything on there. And then World News. But I want to thank everybody for coming through and who watches. Thank you.